Hey guys, it's this Checka. So this camera makes me look completely blue, but I feel a little blue because my computer died. It just like completely died, and I have to send it away to Apple because all of the Apple stores are closed here because of coronavirus. Hi, Tess. So, you want to see it? Look how beautiful it is, but it's dead. So since my computer is dead, I have to use this one, which is really lucky that my old computer still works well enough for me to be able to do videos. So I should not complain. But I just wanted to explain why. First of all, I was a little late today, and also why I look blue-ish. So when I get more subscribers, then I would be able to just use like my phone or an iPad to do mobile streaming. But I need way more subscribers for that. So for now, I just use a computer. We were doing first chapters yesterday, but we had started with the story of the Spot from this book. And me personally, I kind of want to know what happened in it because I would like to report to you that I did not cheat and check or skip ahead to see what happened to the Spot, even though I really wanted to. So I hope that it doesn't turn out to be something too creepy because anyway. But when we left, there was the Spot that was in the Reginald Archer's room. I remember he had seen it like on his breakfast table, and then he saw it on the blotter on his desk, and then he saw it on the wall, and it's just like moving around the room, but each time it gets like a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. By the way, the word blotter doesn't make much sense for a modern desk. You don't really need a blotter, but in old times when your writing instruments were like a dippy pen and ink, or even older than that, when it was like a feather plume and ink, you would get lots of ink, just like spatters everywhere. And you wouldn't want that on your like nice wooden topped desk. So you would have a blotter on top of it to absorb the blots. It would usually be made out of leather. So, fun fact. Okay, no more fun facts. Okay. Oh, I forgot. When we left off in the story, he had called his college buddy who is like a supernatural investigator. Okay. Okay. Contentedly, the large man lit a cigar and watched the streets go sliding by. Delicious that a man as cautiously organized as poor old Archer should find himself confronted with something so outrageous. It only showed you that the tidiest lives have nothing but quicksand for a base. The snuggest havens full of trapdoors and sliding panels and unsuspected attics and suddenly discovered rooms. Why should the careful Archer find himself exempt? And he hadn't. Listen, I kind of love that paragraph because I am a messy person. So I kind of am amused by the idea of like even people who are like super neat and tidy still might have like strange and mysterious things happening at their houses. I once lived in an apartment that had a secret door in it, and it freaked me. I like couldn't sleep for ages. It took me months to be brave enough to like see what was in there, and all I found was like a Coke can from the 1950s. But I was convinced that there was like some kind of, like a bear living in there. Okay. The limousine drifted to a gentle stop before Archer's house, and Mandifer, emerging from his car, gazed up at the building with pleasure. It was a gracious Georgian structure, which had been in Archer's family since the time of its construction. Mandifer mounted its steps and was about to apply himself to its knocker when the door flew open and he found himself facing a desperately agitated fox. Remember, Fox is the butler. "Oh, sir," gasped the butler, speaking in piteous tones, "I'm so glad that you've come. We don't know what to make of it, sir. We can hardly keep track of it. It moves so fast." "There, Fox, there," rumbled Sir Harry, moving smoothly into the entrance with the unstoppable authority of a great clipper ship under full sail. "It can't be as bad as all that, can it?" "Oh, it can, sir, it can," said Fox, following in Mandifer's wake down the hall. "You can't get a hold on it, sir. It is what it is, and every time it's back, it's bigger, sir." "In the study, isn't it?" asked Sir Harry, opening the door of that room and gazing inside. He stood stock still, and his eyes widened a trifle, because the sight before him, even for one so experienced in peculiar sights as he, was startling. Imagine a beautiful room, exquisitely furnished, impeccably maintained. Yeah, imagine that that's the room I'm in. Exquisitely furnished, impeccably maintained. Imagine the occupant of that room to be a thin, tallish gentleman dressed faultlessly in the best possible taste. Conceive of the whole thing, man and room in combination, to be a flawless example of the sort of styled perfection that only large amounts of money, filtered through generations of confident privilege, can produce. Now see the man on his hands and knees in one of the room's corners, staring bug-eyed at the wall. And on the wall, picture... Dang, the spot has gotten bigger. "Remarkable," said Sir Harry Mandifer. "Isn't it, sir?" moaned Fox. "Oh, isn't it?" "I'm so glad you could come, Sir Harry," said Archer from his crouched position in the corner. It was difficult to make out his words as he spoke them through clenched teeth. "Forgive me for not rising, but if I take my eyes off this thing or even blink, the whole... Oh, dang it!" Instantly, the vanished from the wall. Archer gave out an explosive sigh, clapped his hands to his face, and sat back heavily on the floor. "Don't tell me where it's got to now, Fox," he said. "I don't want to know. I don't want to hear about it." Fox said nothing, only touched a trembling hand on Sir Harry's shoulder and pointed to the ceiling. There, almost directly in its center, was... So you can see it got bigger when it went to the ceiling. Sir Harry leaned his head close to Fox's ear and whispered, "Keep looking at it for as long as you can, old man. Try not to let it get away." And then in his normal conversational tone, which was a kind of cheerful roar, he spoke to Archer. "Seems like you've got a bit of a tricky problem here. What?" Archer looked up grimly up from his fingers. Then carefully he lowered his arms and stood. He brushed himself off, made a few adjustments on his coat and tie, and spoke. "I'm sorry, Sir Harry. I'm afraid I'd rather let it get the better of me." "No such thing," boomed Sir Harry Mandifer, clapping Archer on the back. "Besides, it's enough to rattle anyone. Gave me quite a turn myself, and I'm used to this kind of nonsense." Sir Harry had developed his sturdy technique of encouragement during many a campaign in a haunted house and ghost-ridden moor, and it did not fail him now. Archer's return to self-possession was almost immediate. Satisfied at the restoration, Sir Harry looked up at the ceiling. "You say it started as a kind of spot?" he asked, peering at the dark thing which spread above him. "About as big as a penny," answered Archer. That was bigger than what I was picturing. What have the stages been like between then and now?" Little bits come out of it. They get bigger. And at the same time, other little bits come popping out. And as if that weren't enough, the whole ghastly thing keeps swelling like some balloon. "Nasty," said Sir Harry. "I'd say it's got to be a yard across," said Archer, "at least." "Well, what do you make of it, Sir Harry?" "Well, it looks to me like some kind of plant." Both the butler and Archer gaped at him. The instantly disappeared. "Well, I'm sorry, sir," said the butler, stricken. "What do you mean, plant?" asked Archer. It can't be a plant, Sir Harry. It's perfectly flat for one thing. Have you touched it? Archer sniffed. Not very likely, he said. Discreetly, the butler cleared his throat. It's on the floor, gentlemen, he said. The three looked down at the thing with reflectful expressions. Its longest reach was now a little over 4 feet. So, and also, just as a point of reference, a yard was out from the tip of your nose to the ends of your fingers. I barely fit in the little screen here, but that's, if you ever need to measure out like a yard of cloth, like that. It looks like a demented dab when I did it, didn't it? Okay. The three looked down at the thing with reflectful expressions. I don't know if reflectful is a word, y'all. I'm a little skeptical about that. You'll notice, said Harry, that the texture of the carpet does not show through the blackness. Therefore, it's not like ink or some other stain. It has an independent surface. He stooped down, surprisingly graceful for a man of his size, and pulling a pencil from his pocket, poked at the thing. The pencil went into the darkness about a 1/4 inch and stopped. He jabbed at another point, this time penetrating a good full inch. You see, said Sir Harry, standing, it does have a complex kind of shape. Our eyes can perceive it only in a 2-dimensional way, but the sense of touch moves it along to the 3rd. The obvious implication of all this length, width, and breadth business is that your plants drifted in from some other dimension. Do you see? I should imagine the original spot was its seed. Am I making myself clear on all this? Do you understand? Archer did not quite, but he gave a reasonably good imitation of a man who had. But why did the accursed thing show up here? He asked. Sir Harry seemed to have the answer for that one too, but Fawkes interrupted it. Whatever it may have been, we shall never know it. Oh, sir, he cried, it's gone again. It was indeed. The carpet stretched unblemished under the 3 men's feet. They looked about the room, somewhat anxiously now, but could find no trace of the invader. Perhaps it's gone back into the living room, said Sir Harry, but a search revealed that it had not. There's no reason to assume it must confine itself to the 2 rooms, said Sir Harry, thoughtfully chewing his lip, nor even to the house itself. Fawkes, standing closer to the hallway door than the others, tottered slightly and emitted a strangled sound. The others turned and looked where the old man pointed. There, stretching across the striped paper of the hall, across from the door, was... This is, Archer said in a choked voice, really a bit much, Sir Harry. Something simply must be done, or the thing will take over the whole bloody house. Keep your eyes fixed on it, Fawkes said Sir Harry, at all costs. He turned to Archer. It has substance. I have proven that. It can be attacked. Have you some kind of cutting instrument about the place? A machete? Something like that? Archer pondered and then brightened in a grim sort of way. I have a kriss, he said. I don't know what that is. Get it, said Sir Harry. Archer strode from the room, clenching and unclenching his hands. There was a longish pause, and then his voice called from another room. I can't get the blasted thing off its mounting. I'll come and help, said Sir Harry answered. He turned to Fawkes, who was pointing at the thing on the wall like some kind of loyal bird dog. Never falter, old man, he said. Keep your gaze rock steady. The kriss, an old war souvenir brought to the house by Archer's grandfather, was fixed to its display panel by a complicatedly woven arrangement of wires, and it took Sir Harry and Archer a good 2 minutes to get it free. I have to stop and look this up, otherwise I'm not going to understand the story. Let's see here. I'm Googling kriss and oh my. Okay, I Googled the words kriss and weapon, and what I have come up with is a great big dagger. Look at that. Okay. Well, it's like the size of a sword. Okay, they hurried back to the hall and there jarred to a halt, absolutely thunderstruck. The was nowhere to be seen, but that was not the worst. The butler, Fox, was gone. Archer and Sir Harry exchanged startled glances and then called the servant's name again and again to no effect whatsoever. What can be done, Sir Harry asked Archer. What in God's name has happened? Sir Harry Mandeford did not reply. He grasped the kris before him, his eyes darting this way and that, and Archer, to his horror, saw that the man was trembling where he stood. Then, with a visible effort of will, Sir Harry pulled himself together and assumed once more his staunch air. We must find it, Archer, he said, his chin thrust out. We must find it. We must kill it. We may not have another chance if it gets away again. Sir Harry, leading the way, the two men covered the ground floor, going from room to room, but found nothing. A search of the second also proved futile. Pray God, said Sir Harry, mounting to the floor above, the creature has not quit the house. Archer, now short of breath from simple fear, climbed unsteadily after. Perhaps it's gone back to where it came from, Sir Harry, he said. Not now, the other answered grimly, not after Fox. I think it found it likes our little world. But what is it? Asked Archer. I said what it was, a plant, replied the large man, opening a door and peering into the room revealed, a special kind of plant. We have them here in our dimension. At this point, Archer understood. Sir Harry opened another door and then another with no success. There was the attic left. They went up the narrow steps, Sir Harry in the lead, his kris held high before him. Archer by now was barely able to drag himself along the banister. His breath came in tiny whimpers. A meat-eater, isn't it? He whispered. Isn't it, Sir Harry? Sir Harry Mandeford took his hand from the knob of the small door and turned to look down at his companion. That's right, Archer, he said, with the door swinging open, all unnoticed behind his back. The thing's a carnivore. Whoa. So the spot ate the butler. That's intense. That's the end of the story. I told y'all that these were all short stories, so that's the end of the story. This might motivate me to vacuum and clean my house because I hope that there are not any spots that are meat-eating plants from other dimensions that'll get huge and eat me, is what I'm saying. Wow, that was intense. Let's see. Does it? Oh, okay. I'm skipping to the back to see who wrote all of these stories because there's a lot of stories here. So that one was written by somebody called Peter. Oh, no. Let's see here. They're not in alphabetical order. Gan Wilson. Okay, we'll look up Gan Wilson. Okay, so these stories are written by Peter Beagle, Avram Davidson, Neil Gaiman. I don't recognize any of these names. E. Nesbitt, that's one who wrote the Railway Children. Ooh. Okay. Lily Yu. Okay. So that's that one. I think tomorrow we already read the first chapter, this one, or we read like 2 chapters actually. I think tomorrow we can do a little bit of this one and a little bit of that one. But I'm just gonna say, everybody clean your rooms because of the spots. And also say hi in the chat box. I love it when Tess says hi in the chat box. So be good. Eat your fruits and vegetables. And as a sidebar, it's gotten kind of too hot to do garden videos. But I want to do one maybe sometime soon when it's not crazy, crazy hot, because it's time to clear out part of my vegetable garden and put in different vegetables for the fall. Like I did all these tiny pumpkins, but I want to put in some regular sized pumpkins. And it takes a long time for a pumpkin to grow full size. So in order to have some for October, you kind of have to plant them now. And also, I have some watermelons growing. So that's pretty fun. I have a watermelon that's like this size right now. It's real fun looking. Um, so anyway, eat your fruits and vegetables. Be good. I see you soon. Bye.